hereto and made part thereof. And section 2, that this ordinance shall be effective from and after the earliest period allowed by law. I move that we adopt this ordinance.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt ordinance 2013-40 TNS, an ordinance authorizing the municipal manager to enter into a contract with the Greenhills Fire Department Incorporated for fire and emergency protection services. Ms. Walter, you can start the discussion, or if you'd like to defer to the manager.
I would like to refer to the manager, please.
All right, could you give us the thumbnail of the contract?
Sure. My recollection is that the most significant change in this reflects the amount of the levy, which has gone down a little bit, and it's been reworded to indicate, I believe the amount's $135,000 for whatever the levy generates.
Okay.
I believe that's one.
Whichever is greater.
Right.
Okay.
We also made this a 5-year contract with optional renewals, and it always remains in effect during the period where it's between votes. So we never be without a fire department.
Well, that's a good thing.
That's very good.
That's a good thing. Any other discussion on the ordinance? It seems like one of those great things that you get to do. It's like,
It's the greatest bargain in all of Hamilton County government. I always say that.
amen. All right, if there's no further discussion. Would the clerk call the roll, please?
Dries,
Aye.
Hermes,
Aye.
Walther,
Aye.
Adams,
Aye.
The ordinance is hereby adopted. Mr. Hermes.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I have a resolution number 2013-41-RC. The second reading, but I didn't want to do a second reading, but
But you have to read it.
Have to read it
Unless
again.
you read it the whole thing last time, you
All
have to
right.
read it again.
Recognizing the generous donation made by the Bradford family to the village of Greenhills. It's whereas the village of Greenhills planned the construction of a new playground in the village, and whereas the Bradfords wanted to make a sizable donation to put towards the construction of the new playground in memory of Judy Bradford Corbin. Now therefore be it resolved by the village of Greenhills, Ohio, its members elect hereto concurring. Section 1, the Bradfords are hereby recognized for their generous donation of $10,000 that was put towards the construction of the new playground. In Section 2, that this resolution shall take effect and be enforced from the and after the earliest period allowed by law. I'd like to make a motion to adopt this resolution.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been made and seconded to adopt resolution 2013-41-RC, recognizing the generous donation made by the Bradford family to the village of Green Hills. Mr. Hermes, you have anything else to say?
No, it's been said before, this is the second time.
All right, well, you know, this is one of those things, this is actually a pretty big thing. Every once in a while, we get a very substantial donation. You know, the Stacy family and their assistance for the gazebo, the Bradfords and their assistance for this park. And, you know, it's tremendous that they've seen fit to do that. And, you know, as a village, we're thrilled. We'd be happy to accept the money, and we've got a beautiful playground with a real nice parking lot next to it too. So if there's no further discussion, will the clerk call the roll on the question?
Hermes,
Aye.
Walther,
Aye.
Adams,
Aye.
Dries,
Aye.
The ordinance is hereby adopted. Mr. Hermes, you've got another one.
Another resolution, number 2013-42-RC. It's a resolution of joinder authorizing the village of Green Hills, Ohio, to enter into a corporate agreement with the other Ohio political subdivision for the purpose of providing cable franchise management and public and educational and government access programming, and to take other measures in connection with said agreement. So I guess I have to read this whole thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whereas Village of Green Hills, Ohio, the village previously assigned the village's cable franchise management and public educational and government access programming activities to the Community Programming Board, also known as Wake-Watch Community Media, as a joint government board with the City of Forest Park, Ohio, and Springfield Township, Ohio. And whereas, as of January 1st, 2014, the effective date, the Community Programming Board will establish itself as a regional council of governments pursuant to Chapter 167 of the Ohio Revised Code, which regional council of governments shall be known as the Community Programming Board Regional Council of Governments, the Regional Council of Governments, and whereas the village desires to work cooperatively with the Ohio political subdivisions as part of said Regional Council of Governments in order to provide cable franchise management and public, educational, and government access programming activities for the village. Now therefore be it resolved by the Village of Greenhills of the Village of Greenhills of Ohio, in the Village Council, Section 1, that the village hereby authorizes the village manager to enter into a cooperative agreement in order to participate in the Regional Council of Governments for the purpose stated in the preamble hereto. Further, Village Council hereby authorizes the trustees representing the village as listed in the cooperative agreement dated as January 1st, 2014, among the village, the city of Forest Park, Ohio, and Springfield Township, Ohio, the cooperative agreement, as the initial trustees under the Regional Council of Governments, and shall assign subsequent trustees in a manner that is consistent with the provisions of the cooperative agreement and the bylaws of the Regional Council of Governments, and in a manner that is in the best interest of the village. Should I say that again? Okay.
No.
Section 2, the village council hereby authorizes that those monies currently held by the Community Programming Board be transferred to the CPD, Regional Council of Governments, on the effective date, all in accordance with the cooperative agreement and the bylaws of the Regional Council of Governments. Section 3, that the village council hereby finds and determines that all formal actions relative to the adoption of this resolution were taken in an open meeting of village council, and that all deliberations of village council and of its committees, if any, which resulted in formal action, were taken in meetings open to the public in full compliance with applicable legal requirements, including section 121-22 ORC. Section 4, this resolution shall be in force and effect from and immediately after this adoption. Blank seconded the motion.
That's all right, you don't need to read the rest of that
Good.
stuff. That's just the bookwork that Kathy has to contend with. So,
I'd like to make a motion to adopt this resolution.
is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt resolution number 2013-42 RC, resolution of joinder authorizing the Village of Green Hills, Ohio to enter into a cooperative agreement with other Ohio political subdivisions for the purpose of providing cable franchise management, public, educational, and government access programming, and to take other measures in connection with said cooperative agreement. Mr. Hermes.
I know Chip Berquist was here a month ago, talked to us about it, what's going on. It's more of a shift in money, shift in corporation, shift in names, just so I guess things can go well for Waycross and CPB.
All right. Any other questions, comments, concerns? No? Hearing none, would the clerk call the roll, please?
Walther,
Aye.
Adams.
Aye.
Reeves,
Aye.
Hermes,
Aye.
The resolution is hereby adopted. You know, Kathy, they might start making you read all these.
Shades of the Past.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Maria, I think it's your turn
I
again.
have ordinance number 2013-43-CMS, authorizing the municipal manager to execute the Hamilton County, Ohio Mutual Aid Agreement for law enforcement. And this is authorizing the manager. Whereas the Ohio Revised Code provides that political subdivisions may enter into contracts for the purpose of obtaining police protection or additional police protection, and for the purpose of obtaining additional police through mutual aid agreements, and whereas numerous political subdivisions in Hamilton County intend to provide reciprocal police services across jurisdictional lines to enhance the capabilities of law enforcement for the protection of citizens and property throughout Hamilton County. Now therefore be ordained by the Council of Village of Green Hills, Ohio, blank, members elected there to concurrent. Section 1, that the municipal manager is hereby authorized to execute a mutual aid agreement for law enforcement substantially in conformance with that attached hereto as Exhibit A and incorporated the herein by reference. And Section 2, that this ordinance shall take effect and be enforced from and after the earliest period allowed by law. Sir, I move that we adopt this ordinance number 2013-43-PNS.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved to adopt ordinance 2013-43 TNS, authorizing the municipal manager to execute the Hamilton County, Ohio Mutual Aid Agreement for law enforcement.
Well, this is allowing for the moment, we heard the fire chief that they had an accident and fires and different communities do participate into helping each other out. Ms. Cova, do you have anything else to add?
And the chief may as well, and this particular one, are there any particular changes that they were making in it? I thought it was just a.
The major change had to do with insurance coverage related to SWAT incidents, which require a $3 million policy, which we didn't
We
have.
do have.
But I think along the same lines that you mentioned, Ms. Walter, we couldn't survive without that kind of mutual aid assistance. I think that routinely, if I hear an officer that needs help or there's a difficult call, it always amuses me that Chief Doyle and I seem to show up relatively at about the same time. So that's the way the business is done in Hamilton County, and we're very grateful for that.
It's, it's just sort of part of the deal with budgets and things the way they are, and frankly, you want to help your neighbor. And brother behind the badge, if the stuff's hitting the fan, you want to get there with an umbrella and help them out. All right, there's no further discussion. Would the clerk call the roll, please?
Walther,
Aye.
Adams,
Aye.
Reeves, Hermes,
Aye.
The ordinance is hereby adopted. Moving on to new business, let's wait for number one for see if Mr. Halter makes the scene. So let's go to 46, Mr. Dries.
I'm gonna ask the law director a question. I can suspend the rule here, correct? Yes.
Yes, you may. It's an ordinance.
Yes.
An ordinance.
Yes. Mr. Mayor, I have ordinance 2013-46F, an ordinance approving the Greenhills annual permanent appropriations for 2014. I move to suspend the rule requiring reading the ordinance 2 times on 2 separate occasions and reading the ordinance in its entirety.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to suspend the rule requiring reading this ordinance 2 times on 2 separate occasions and reading this ordinance in its entirety. Is there any discussion on the rule suspension? Hearing none, all in favor of the rule suspension, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please signify by saying nay. Are there any abstentions? Sounds like we've got enough. The rule suspension is hereby adopted.
Mr. Mayor, I move for adoption of ordinance 2013-46F.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt ordinance 2013-46F, an ordinance approving the Greenhills annual permanent appropriations for 2014. Mr. Dries.
This is the appropriation to put money into the various accounts to get us started for the year.
All right.
And it's consistent with our budget.
And see, and that's all good too. And this is for the entire year. This is not just a 3-month.
That's correct.
Right. It looks like we've appropriated to the general fund 1.97 million. Round figures, special revenue funds $2 million, special assessment fund 40,000, grand total of approximately $4.3 million for the year. And how does that compare to the previous year?
I believe it's slightly lower.
Yeah, it is.
Slightly lower?
Yes.
All right, that's great. Spend less money.
Yeah.
Any discussion, questions? Hearing none, on the question of the adoption of the ordinance, would the clerk please call the roll?
Adams.
Aye.
Reeves.
Aye.
Hermes.
Aye.
Walther.
Aye.
The appropriation is hereby adopted.
Mr. Mayor, I have Resolution 2013-47F adopting an annual fee schedule for the Village of Greenhills, whereas the village has determined it's necessary to assess fees for certain services, and now therefore be resolved by the Council of the Village of Greenhills, Ohio, members elected thereto concurring Section 1, that the Council of the Village of Greenhills hereby adopts the fee schedule as set forth in Exhibit A attached here to incorporated herein by reference. Section 2, that this resolution shall be and is effective from and after the earliest date allowed by law. Move for adoption.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt Resolution 2013-47F, adopting the annual fee schedule for the Village of Green Hills. Mr. Dries, highlights, changes?
We worked on this on work session. The most significant one is the golf course, a 15% increase is recommended by Mr. Suggs. I am happy to tell the residents, or the seniors, the rate is $4. That was an issue last year. We'll get that right out of the gate. Did I miss something? I know there's one or two other small changes.
Temporary sign permit.
A temporary sign permit, $10.
Did we raise the apartment rents too?
Yes, we raised the apartment rent, I'm glad you brought that up. For the 3-bedroom, we increased it to $700 per month. It was $675.
A pretty modest increase, nevertheless. All right. Any questions, discussion? Will the clerk call the roll, please?
Reeves.
Aye.
Hermes.
Aye.
Walther.
Aye.
Adams.
Aye.
The resolution is hereby adopted. Mr. Dries.
I have a resolution 2013-48F, a resolution requesting the county auditor to make tax advances during the year 2014 pursuant to Ohio Revised Code Section 321.34. Whereas the Ohio Revised Code allows a taxing authority to request payment from the county auditor of funds derived from taxes or other sources to the county treasurer, which may be held on account of a location subdivision. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Village of Greenhills, Ohio, Section 1, that the auditor and treasurer of Hamilton County, in accordance with Ohio Revised Code 321.34, be required to draw and pay to the Village of Greenhills upon written request of the Finance Director, Kim Cox, to the county auditor, funds due in any settlement of 2014 derived from taxes or other sources payable to the county treasurer, to the account of the Village of Greenhills, and lawfully applicable for purposes for the current fiscal year. Section 2, that the clerk of the Village of Greenhills be and is hereby directed to transmit a certified copy of this resolution to the auditor of Hamilton County, Ohio. Section 3, that this resolution take effect and be in full force from and after its passage and approval. I move for the adoption of this resolution.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt Resolution 2013-48F, a resolution requesting the county auditor to make tax advances during the year 2014 pursuant to Ohio Revised Code Section 321.34. Mr. Dries, why are we doing this?
So that we can get our money.
That's what I like. So Dusty will give it up, huh? All right. And it seems kind of crazy that our tax money would sit down there until we actually we go through this to tell Dusty to give it to us. If there's no further discussion, will the clerk call the roll on the resolution, please?
Dries.
Aye.
Walther.
Aye.
Adams.
Aye.
And Hermes.
Aye.
All right, resolution is hereby adopted. Ms. Walther, I think we've got this one.
I have resolution number 2013-49-P&S, authorizing promotions and salary increases for certain police department employees. Be it resolved by the Council of the Village of Green Hills, State of Ohio, Section 1, that Sergeant Ann Ward will be promoted to the rank of lieutenant effective December the 3rd, 2013, at which time her salary will be increased to the amount of $26.12 per hour, $54,334.18 annually. Section 2, that Sergeant Tim Lukes, promoted to the rank of sergeant as of October the 1st, 2013, will have his salary increased to the amount of $24.91 per hour, $51,809.47 annually, retroactive to October the 1st of 2013. Section 3, that patrol officers Andy Moore and Ray Tenzin shall receive each a step increase to the amounts of $46,017 and $41,690 respectively, in order to appropriately reflect their length of service with the Greenhills Police Department and to differentiate their salary from current entry-level positions. These increases shall go into effect as of the first full pay period in 2014. Section 4, this resolution shall take effect and be in full force from and after the earliest date allowed law. And I move to adopt this resolution number 2013-49-TNS.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt resolution 2013-49-TNS, authorizing promotions and salary increases for certain police department employees. Ms. Walther?
It is right and just to do so.
Fair enough. Chief, comments?
There was a organizational study done of the organization, and at one time there was authorization for a lieutenant and 2 sergeants. We've determined that at this time that we can adequately survive with a lieutenant and a sergeant as well as a chief, and that becomes the supervisory team of the department. So there is a cost savings there by not filling that 3rd sergeant's position. As we discussed earlier, I'm sure Lieutenant Ward is going to ably fill the role of her new assignment, which would be the operations commander for the department. So I would certainly recommend council's consideration of this.
And as I seem to recall, we haven't done a lot of pay increases for the police department in a while for the other patrol officers. Is that correct?
Yes, and I'd like to thank the manager for that. We had some discussions on that, and she's agreed to consider these on an individual basis. So I've made my case. I'm glad she agreed.
Fair enough. And just for the public's perspective, the salaries that we pay our officers are considerably less than they would receive at another agency. You know, there's some benefits of working at Greenhills, and I appreciate the officers' efforts, and I certainly think they're worth the money that we're paying. Anyone else? Any other discussion? Questions, comments? On the question of the resolution, would the clerk please call the roll?
Walther,
Aye.
Adams,
Aye.
Dries,
Aye.
Hermes,
Aye.
Resolution's adopted. All right, Mr. Adams, I believe it's your turn now.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have resolution number 2013-50 SNS, authorizing the municipal manager to enter into a contract with Laughlin Excavating and Paving Company for repairs to a public storm sewer on Flanders. Whereas the village of Greenhills desires to make improvements to the public storm sewer located adjacent to 59 Flanders, and whereas the village sought bids from qualified vendors for said project, and whereas Loveland Excavating and Paving Company at the lowest bid for said project, now therefore be it resolved by the council of the village of Greenhills, state of Ohio, members elected thereto concurring, in section 1, that the municipal manager is hereby authorized to enter into a contract with Loveland Excavating and Paving Company in the approximate amount of $36,683 for said project. Section 2, that the fiscal officer is authorized to make payment in the amount of $36,683 to to Loveland Excavating and Paving Company from a grant received from the Hamilton County Stormwater District pursuant to the terms of said contract. Section 3, that this resolution shall be in full force and effect from and after its passage and approval. Mr. Mayor, I move to adopt the resolution.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt Resolution 2013-50 SNS, authorizing the municipal manager to enter into a contract with Loveland Excavating and Paving Company for repairs to a public storm sewer on Flanders. Discussion? Mr. Adams?
I think it's, says it in there, we've had, the manager got qualified bids for the project. This was the lowest bid, and it's paid for with grant money. It's like a win all the way around.
Needs to be fixed.
All right, so it's,
I agree with that, it was the need to be repaired. Just wonder how many bids, did it take?
We ended up in 5.
5, okay, and this was the lowest,
Yes, and in fact, you'll see on the next project as well, they were the low bid.
and, it's, repeatable and, no questions with their performance of work.
Correct.
Okay,
Right,
good.
yeah, if you remember, they were significantly lower than the other bidders.
Yes.
And we did meet out on site with the engineer about the 2 lowest bids, just to make sure they understood
Okay.
exactly what was part of the project.
Okay.
We did, I'm sorry, but on this one, we did have, longer length of pipe that failed just since we first started the whole effort. But they were still the low bid on that.
Okay.
there's no further discussion on the question of the resolution. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Walther,
Aye.
Adams,
Aye.
Reeves,
Aye.
Hermes,
Aye.
The resolution is hereby adopted. Mr. Adams, it's you again.
Mr. Mayor, I have resolution number 2013-51 SNS, authorizing the municipal manager to enter into a contract with Loveland Excavating and Paving Company for repairs to a public storm sewer on Carini. Whereas the village of Greenhills desires to make improvements to the public storm sewer located adjacent to 786 Carini Lane, and whereas the village sought bids from qualified vendors for said project, and whereas Loveland Excavating and Paving Company had the lowest bid for said project, now therefore be it resolved by the council of the village of Greenhills, state of Ohio, members elected thereto concurring, section 1, that the municipal manager is hereby authorized to enter into a contract with Loveland Excavating and Paving Company in the approximate amount of $27,798 for said project. Section 2, that the fiscal officer is authorized to make payment in the amount of $27,298 to Loveland Excavating and Paving Company from a grant received from the Hamilton County Storm Water District pursuant to the terms of said contract. Section 3, that this resolution shall be in full force and effect from the earliest date allowed by law. Mr. Mayor, I move to adopt the resolution.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt Resolution 2013-51 SNS, authorizing the municipal manager to enter into a contract with Loveland Excavating and Paving Company for repairs to a public storm sewer on Carini. Any discussion?
Same as the previous one, change the street name and the amount, dollar amount.
There we go. And this has been hanging fire for a long while, as I recall, so, yeah, it's a good thing of getting this done, and thank you, Hamilton County Stormwater District, for coming up with the money to help us with that. So we go through that exercise every year. All right, if there are no further questions or concerns, would the clerk call the roll, please?
Reeves,
Aye.
Hermes,
Aye.
Walther,
Aye.
Adams,
Aye.
The resolution is hereby adopted. Mr. Adams, it's you again.
Mr. Mayor, I have resolution number 2013-52 SNS, a resolution authorizing all actions necessary to support the continuation of a governmental natural gas aggregation program with opt-out provisions pursuant to section 4929.26 Ohio Revised Code, directing the municipal manager to execute a supply agreement with Interstate Gas Company, Inc. to continue a natural gas aggregation program beyond March 31st, 2014, when the current supply agreement ends. Whereas the Ohio legislature has enacted natural gas deregulation legislation, House Bill number 9, which authorizes the legislative authorities of villages to aggregate the retail natural gas loads located in the respective jurisdictions and to enter into service agreements to facilitate for those loads the purchase and sale of natural gas. And whereas governmental aggregation provides an opportunity for residential and small business customers collectively to participate in the potential benefits of natural gas deregulation through lower natural gas rates, which they would not otherwise be able to have individually. And whereas this council finds and determines that it is in the best interest of the village, its residents, businesses, and other natural gas consumers located within the limits of the village to continue its natural gas opt-out aggregation program, subject to the conditions of a natural gas supply agreement that will take effect on or about April 1st, 2014. Now therefore be it resolved by the council of the village of Greenhills, Hamilton County, Ohio. Section 1, the municipal manager is hereby authorized to enter into a master services agreement, MSA, with Interstate Gas Supply, Inc., attached hereto and incorporated herein by reference as Exhibit A, to facilitate the sale and purchase of natural gas to consumers in the village's opt-out program. Section 2, that it is found and determined that all formal actions of this council concerning and relating to the adoption of this resolution were opted in an open meeting of this council, and that all deliberations of this council and any of its committees that resulted in such formal action were in meetings open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code. Section 3, that this resolution shall be in full force and effect from and after the earliest date allowed by law. Mr. Mayor, I move to adopt the resolution.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt Resolution 2013-52 SNS, a resolution authorizing all actions necessary to support the continuation of the governmental natural gas aggregation program with opt-out provisions pursuant to Section 4929.26 Ohio Revised Code, directing the municipal manager to execute a supply agreement with Interstate Gas Supply Incorporated to continue a natural gas aggregation program beyond March 31st, 2014, when the current supply agreement ends. Mr. Adams.
This is, again, just getting the group rate for gas. I don't know if you want to elaborate any, but it seems like it's.
Yeah, we had a discussion at the work session about it. Got the best deal with the group other.
Yeah, this is
communities.
actually a lower rate than our previous
Right.
gas rate.
Yes, it's better rate.
Cost.
This one is
Yeah.
actually a formula. They have the best formula. It would be in place for 2 years.
So, the village has made out pretty well with the last aggregation agreement.
Yeah.
The individuals who have done that have made out pretty well, and a lot of people have come trying to sell me gas and electric, and, they can't beat the price, so.
And as an entity, the village pays a utility bill to, and to that extent, we.
Yeah, we want the best rate we can get.
And again, you, as a resident, have the opt-out provision, so if you
Right.
think you can get a better rate or somebody's offering you something better.
We certainly have that option, and, it's a little tricky, but there's a price to compare number. And I guess if you have any questions, you can call the office here. I guess
Correct.
you can talk you through some of that. All right. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none. On the question of the resolution on the floor, would the clerk please call the roll?
Adams.
Aye.
Dries.
Aye.
Hermes.
Aye.
Walter.
Aye.
Mr. Adams, along the lines of no good deed goes unpunished. I think we've got an electric provision too, don't we?
We do, it's
Right.
pretty similar. I have resolution number 2013-53 SMS. A resolution authorizing all actions necessary to support the continuation of a governmental electricity aggregation program with opt-out provisions pursuant to section 4928.20 Ohio Revised Code, directing the municipal manager to execute a supply agreement with the First Energy Solutions Corporation to continue an electric aggregation program beyond March 2014, when the current supply agreement ends. Whereas the Ohio legislature has enacted electric deregulation legislation, House Bill, I guess what is it, Senate Bill number 3, which authorizes the legislative authorities of villages to aggregate the retail electric loads located in the respective jurisdictions and to enter into service agreements to facilitate for those loads the purchase and sale of electricity. And whereas governmental aggregation provides an opportunity for residential and small business customers collectively to participate in the potential benefits of electricity deregulation through lower electric rates, which they would not otherwise be able to have individually. And whereas this council finds and determines that it is in the best interest of the village, its residents, businesses, and other electric consumers located within the limits of the village to continue its electric opt-out aggregation program, subject to the conditions of an electric supply agreement that will take effect on or about April 1st, 2014. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Village of Greenhills, Hamilton County, Ohio, Section 1, the municipal manager is hereby authorized to enter into a master services agreement, MSA, with First Energy Solutions Corporation, attached hereto and incorporated herein by reference as Exhibit A, to facilitate the sale and purchase of electricity to consumers in the village's opt-out program. Section 2, that it is found and determined that all formal actions of this council concerning and relating to the adoption of this resolution were adopted in an open meeting of this council, and that all deliberations of this council and any of its committees that resulted in such formal action were in meetings open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code. Section 3, that this resolution shall be in full force and effect from and after the earliest date allowed by law. Mr. Mayor, I move to adopt the resolution.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt resolution number 2013-53 SNS, a resolution authorizing all actions necessary to support the continuation of governmental electricity aggregation program with opt-out provisions pursuant to section 492820 of the Ohio Revised Code, and directing the municipal manager to execute a supply agreement with First Energy Solutions Corporation to continue an electric aggregation program beyond March 2014 with the current supply agreement ends.
Pretty much, like we talked before, we're changing gas to electric on this one. Pretty much.
And again, I think that the compare by number is lower.
Still
yet
lower, yes.
lower than we had
Correct.
before, so our electric rates are going down, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Any other discussion on the resolution? Hearing none, would the clerk call the roll, please?
Dries,
Aye.
Hermes,
Aye.
Walter,
Aye.
Adams,
Aye.
And again, if you've got any questions, contact the office here. But this one's hard to beat. All right, Mr. Dries, I think we've got an ordinance. Oh, Hermes, the codified ordinance of the Recreation Commission. Oh, right, that's Hermes. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm looking ahead. All right.
Okay, this is an ordinance, I'm gonna read it in its entirety,
All right.
because it's supposed to be an emergency, and we need
Okay.
5, and Jeff's on his way. Sort of waste of time.
You want to do the cap first?
I think we're in the same boat. Well, when it's
That-
not
that
emergency,
is-
no, we
is
can
an
go, we can do,
appropriation.
let's supplemental appropriations. We can do that.
Yes, the supplemental appropriations that we skipped over, because that's an appropriation, I think we may have skipped it because we were waiting for a
Right.
fifth person, but because it's an appropriation, it takes effect immediately without an emergency clause.
All right. So let's do that one. Lynn, I guess it's up to
But
you.
and it only takes 4 to suspend the rules.
Right.
So that, you
Let's-
you could do that one tonight.
All right,
with
let's
4.
go.
Mr. Mayor, I have ordinance 2013-45F, an ordinance making supplemental appropriations. I move to suspend the rule requiring reading the ordinance 2 times on 2 separate occasions and reading the ordinance in its entirety.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to suspend the rule requiring reading this ordinance 2 times on 2 separate occasions and reading this ordinance in its entirety. Is there any discussion on the rule suspension? Hearing none. All in favor of the rule suspension? I'm gonna mess you guys up. Please raise your hand. All opposed? Abstentions? 4-0 vote. I'm pretty happy about that. The rule suspension is hereby adopted.
So I move to adopt the ordinance.
Is there a second? It's been moved and seconded to adopt ordinance 2013-45F, an ordinance making supplemental appropriations. Mr. Dries, would you please walk us through?
Yes, this is not any additional appropriation. This is moving money within funds for the general fund. And then there are some special funds. 2 of them actually received additional revenue. The police operating fund, we received an additional $37,000 of revenue. And the swimming pool contractual services received an additional $7,300 of revenue, and that was due to being open the extra weekend.
Okay. So the net effect of this is just, this is a shuffle?
Yes.
All right. Fair enough. Is this the last one we'll need this year? Probably not.
We hope it may, you might be
Yeah.
You never know. That's always the crapshoot this time of year. That's why I've got a second meeting in December. Fair enough. Is there any discussion on the supplemental appropriations? Hearing none, would the clerk please call the roll about regarding the ordinance?
Hermes,
Aye.
Walter,
Aye.
Adams,
Aye.
Dries.
Aye.
The ordinance is hereby adopted. All right. I guess let's do at least the first reading, Greg. We're gonna have to have probably a special session
We've got a special session.
on the 17th anyway, so we can wrap it
Okay.
up then.
Right, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
I mean, there's really, I know it's presented as an emergency, because you do want your code to reflect what your new charter says, but you could do a first reading tonight,
Yeah.
adopt it as an emergency at the second meeting in December. and
Okay.
That would be fine.
Fair
So-
enough. All right.
All right, I'd like to suspend the rules of reading it.
You don't have to do anything, just read it by title only. Just read the
Oh,
title.
Yeah, as a first reading, you can just do it by
Title only, good. It's ordinance number 2013-54-R. It's amending the section 159-02 of the Greenhills codified ordinances regarding members and terms of the Recreation Commission and declaring an emergency.
All right, thank you. That's the first reading by title only. That is the end of new business. Wow, that was. Yeah, well, it's still only 9 o'clock. What the heck? We got a lot done in this 2 hours. Calendar, we've got the Parliamentary Procedure Workshop, 25 January, 8 a.m., Forest Park Senior Center. Details, other details coming forth from the clerk. Light at Greenhills is this Friday evening, 6 p.m. That's when the lights will get switched on, and they say it might actually be snowing then. December 5th, 7 o'clock, Design Beautification Committee meeting, this room.
Municipal building. Yeah.
Okay. December 18th, 6:30, we're gonna do the Christmas light stuff.
Laws and Rules, December 30th at 9 o'clock.
December 30, 9
9
a.m. Laws and Rules, this building.
This building.
Work session December 17th, special session probably that night. We will have a special session that night at least to deal with that and property insurance, because we haven't got our quotes back from the insurance guys, and they are dragging their feet this year, but, all right, let's see what happens. At this point, I believe I'm going to be expecting a motion to convene an executive session to discuss pending litigation. There will be no action as a result of that, and I trust it is council's intention to adjourn from regular session immediately at the secession of the, okay.
I move to convene to executive session to discuss pending litigation.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adjourn to executive session to discuss pending litigation with the lawyers. So